Welcome to my channel, where fear lives in every story. If you enjoy dark stories, don't forget to like this video. And comment below where you're watching from, and what time it is for you. Now.
I never planned on seeing her again. Honestly, I had built my entire adult life on the belief that she was buried somewhere in my past, far enough behind me that I could pretend none of it ever happened. But that illusion shattered 3 weeks ago, during a late shift behind the bar at Redwood Junction, a small-town dive off Highway 47 in northern Colorado, where folks drink cheap beer, play darts, and mind their own damn business. At least, most of them do. Her name wasn't always Seraphine. Back then we were kids and she went by Sarah, like the sky or some soft summer breeze. Funny how time twists meaning, because there was nothing soft about her anymore. I didn't recognize her that first night, not at first glance. But trauma moves in strange shapes. It hides the monster's face until it's damn near brushing your skin. I was wiping down the counter when she walked in. Tight denim jacket, messy black hair brushing her shoulders, deep brown eyes that scanned the place like she owned it. She moved like someone who'd never been afraid of the world, like she believed it would bend for her. And maybe, once upon a time, it did. "Whiskey neat," she said, sliding onto the stool. Her voice hit me like a punch. Not because it was loud or sharp, but because it carried something familiar. An echo of a memory I'd spent years trying to burn out of my skull. I poured her the drink, set it in front of her, and forced out a neutral smile. "Rough night?" She shrugged. "Rough life." That should have been my first clue. But I wasn't ready to see it yet. Not her. Not the ghost. Not the girl who once held a knife to her own thigh and said, "If you love me, you won't let me disappear." Not the girl I left home for. The girl I nearly lost myself trying to save. I grew up in a quiet neighborhood outside Flagstaff, Arizona, raised by folks who taught me that love meant responsibility, honesty, and showing up. I believed that. I lived that. But at 16, when hormones and stupidity mix into a Molotov cocktail, I met Sarah. She was everything I wasn't, reckless, impulsive, charming with that wildfire spark in her eyes. We collided like two storms and ruined everything in our path. She wasn't just toxic, she was hungry, for control, for validation, for someone to drown with her. When I tried to leave at 18, she locked herself in her room and carved my name into her own skin. When I told her I couldn't stay, she accused me of abandoning her to her demons. The last night we were together, she threatened my mother, said if I left she would make sure my family felt what it was like to lose someone. That was when I ran. I didn't pack, I didn't write, I didn't look back. The police were involved later. Nothing major, no charges, but enough to make it clear I couldn't be anywhere near her without risking getting sucked into her chaos again. So I left. New town, new job, new life. For 12 years I was safe, until she walked into Redwood Junction like the universe wanted to punish me for daring to feel normal again. "Thanks," she muttered, lifting the whiskey to her lips. Her hands shook, just slightly. Not from fear. Sarah never shook out of fear, but from anticipation. Something had brought her here and I had a damn good guess what. "You're not from around here," I said, trying to keep it casual. "Nope." She drummed her nails on the counter. "Just passing through." I nodded. "Well, welcome to Junction. Not much to see, but the beer's cheap." She gave a faint smile, then studied my face with a strange tightness. "You look familiar." My heart sprinted. I forced a chuckle. "I get that sometimes." "You have one of those faces," she said. But the way her eyes narrowed made me sick. She was calculating, pulling pieces together. I backed away, wiping down the far end of the bar to keep distance. But she called out again. "Hey, what's your name?" Shit. My real name, Lysander Hawk, was too unusual for her not to remember. "Ben," I lied easily. "Benjamin Hart." She repeated it slowly as though tasting it. "Ben." Then softly, "You sound like him." My throat closed. Sound like who? She leaned forward, chin resting on her palm. Lysander, my old boyfriend. I froze. She didn't say it with hate. She said it with nostalgia, with longing, with that same pull she once used to drag me into the deep end of her madness. Well, I said quickly, I'm not him. And I wasn't. Not anymore. But Sarah's eyes were sharp as broken glass. Maybe not, but you move like him, talk like him, even blink like him. I forced a laugh. Blink like him? That's new. She didn't laugh back. Instead, she whispered. He ran away from me. Something cold slid down my spine. And what would you do? I asked carefully. If you found him now. Her lips curled into something between a smile and a threat. I'd ask him why he left me to rot. She stayed until closing. I pretended not to recognize her. She pretended not to know the truth. But she watched me. Every move, every shift in my voice, every slip of the hand, like she could read the whole damn map of my past right off my skin. At 1:58 a.m., when we kicked out the last of the locals, she lingered near the pool table pretending to scroll through her phone. Hey, I said, grabbing chairs and flipping them onto the tables. Bar's closing. I know. She pocketed her phone. You walking to your car? No. I lied again. I've got someone picking me up. Her eyes flickered. Jealousy, even after all these years. Who? She asked. Co-worker? Male or female? I raised an eyebrow. Does it matter? She smirked. It always matters. Jesus Christ, same old Sarah. I motioned toward the door. Come on, I gotta lock up. She walked out slowly, almost tauntingly, like she wanted me to watch her. When I finally locked the door behind her, I breathed for the first time that night. But my relief didn't last, because when I walked around the back of the building toward my truck, she was standing there, leaning against the driver's side door like she had every right to be. You lied, she said softly. I froze. About what? You don't have someone picking you up. She stepped closer. You still walk the same path you used to, around the side, past the dumpster, across the gravel. She knew my steps, my patterns, my fucking muscle memory. Sarah, I said finally, unable to pretend anymore. What do you want? Her expression collapsed, anger melting into heartbreak. You, she whispered. I took a step back. Sarah, you need to leave town. You left me first. I had to. No, she snapped. You wanted to. You wanted freedom from me. You wanted a life without me. You wanted air that wasn't filled with my breath. Sarah, say my name again. It wasn't a request. It was a command. I clenched my jaw. Please, this isn't healthy. It never was, she said, stepping closer until her breath hit my neck. But it was real. You know damn well it was real. I tried to move past her, but she blocked me, pressing her palm to my chest. Lysander, she whispered, and hearing my real name broke something dangerous inside me. Look at me. I did, and I hated myself for it. Her eyes were wet, furious, starving. Why did you leave? You know why. No, I know why you said you left. She moved closer. But I want the real reason. You threatened my family. So what? She said without shame. I was scared you'd leave. And I did, I said, because you were hurting yourself, hurting me, hurting everyone. She paused. Then her voice dropped so quiet, I almost didn't catch it. You were the only thing that ever made me feel like I wasn't alone. My chest tightened. Sarah, don't pity me, she hissed. Love me. That's not how love works. That's exactly how love works. She grabbed my shirt. You break me, I break you. You save me, I save you. You hurt me, I hurt you. That's not love, I said. That's obsession. It's all I have. She pulled something from her jacket pocket. A bracelet. A thin silver chain with a tiny crescent charm. The one I gave her when we were 17. The one she swore she'd never take off. She placed it in my hand. You kept it, I whispered. I never stopped loving you, she murmured. Not for a single day. That's not love, Sarah. It is for me. Before I could react, she launched herself at me, kissing me with a violent desperation that tasted like whiskey, tears, and years of festering emotion. I shoved her back. Stop. Why? She screamed. Because you're scared you still want me? I don't. You're lying. Sarah, I'm not that boy anymore. And I'm not that girl, she shouted. I'm worse. There it was. The truth. She lunged again and I grabbed her wrists, pinning them away from me. She fought like hell, her breath ragged, her eyes wild. Let me go, she yelled. You need help. I need you. No. Her face twisted, anger flooding her features, sharp and dangerous. If I can't have you, she whispered, nobody will. Sarah! She screamed and tore herself from my grip, running toward the road. Sarah, wait! A car honked, long, loud, panicked. Headlights, screeching tires, a thud that felt like the earth cracking in half, a body spinning through the air, my heart stopping, then silence. I ran to her, dropping to my knees beside her broken body. Blood pooled beneath her head. Her breaths were shallow, wet, desperate. Sarah. Oh God, Sarah. Her eyes fluttered open, cloudy with pain. You came. Stay with me, I begged, pressing my hands against her wounds. Please, stay with me. She smiled weakly. So, you do love me? I swallowed hard. I never stopped wanting you to be okay. That's enough, she whispered. No, it's not. Don't close your eyes, please. Lysander, she breathed, fingers brushing my cheek one last time. Don't run anymore. I cried out, raw, broken, as her chest rose one final time, and didn't fall again. The ambulance arrived 7 minutes too late. The officers asked questions. Witnesses gave statements. The driver who hit her sobbed until his voice cracked. But all I heard was her last whisper. All I saw was the girl I once loved, the woman I once feared, the soul I could never save. I thought running would free me. I thought distance would heal me. I thought time would bury her memory. But toxic love doesn't die. It lingers. It haunts. It clings like smoke to the back of your throat. Even now, weeks later, when I walk past Redwood Junction and see the traffic lights reflecting off the asphalt, I swear I hear her voice in the cold night air. Lysander, don't run anymore. And sometimes, God help me, I almost turn around. I never thought love could rot. Not the romantic kind, at least. I always believed toxic love was something that happened to other people, the ones who ignored red flags or stayed with the wrong person just because they feared loneliness more than pain. I grew up promising myself I'd never be one of them. But life has a sick sense of humor. It waits until you're finally stable, finally breathing, finally feeling like a real adult. Then it throws someone at you who feels like sunlight at first, warm, comforting, familiar, until you're close enough to realize the heat is from a wildfire that's about to burn everything down. My name is Emily Castings, and I'm in my early 20s. Most people online know a version of me. Soft voice, slow confidence, seductive innocence. But that wasn't the real me. Just the version I created for the one place where I made my adult content. I didn't start OnlyFans for validation or because I liked attention. Hell, I didn't even show my face. I started because I loved the creativity. I liked making my content look artistic. Warm lights, soft shadows, carefully crafted poses that felt like storytelling. And I liked the money. Let's not lie. But I wasn't addicted to the cash. If anything, I got hooked on the control. How different it felt to choose what part of myself to give, what angle to show, what persona to slip into. I lived alone in a small city called Norhaven, several hours from my parents. I had a few friends, a summer job at a lakeside bar, and a small one-bedroom apartment near the edge of downtown. I wasn't famous, but I grew fast on OF, because I was raw and intentional. I didn't post trashy content. I made it look intimate, soft, like something personal rather than performative. My fans noticed. They loved it. And so, my account blew up faster than I expected. I wasn't stupid either. I hid my identity carefully. No face, no tattoos, no real name, no location hints, no reflection slip-ups, nothing trackable. Or so I thought. But this story isn't about OnlyFans. Not really. It's about what happens when a stranger falls in love with a version of you that doesn't exist, and then decides the real you should belong to him, even if he has to take you apart to make you fit. I wasn't planning on meeting anyone that summer. I was working doubles at the bar, trying to save for graduate school applications. The bar wasn't fancy. Neon beer signs, sticky floors, wood-paneled walls that smelled like bourbon and sweat regardless of how many times we wiped them down. My coworkers were more like drinking buddies than actual friends. We laughed, we gossiped, but nobody actually knew me. Not the real me. My real life was quiet. Work, gym, content making, home. The kind of routine you fall into when you're trying to outrun loneliness by staying busy. One night after my shift, my coworker Jenna dragged me out for a drink at a local dive called the Wren's Corner. It was one of those bars with dim lights and a jukebox that only played older rock songs. "You need a life, Em," Jenna said, slamming a tequila shot in front of me. "You work too damn much." "I like being busy," I said, swirling my soda. "Keeps me sane." She smirked. Sane is overrated. We joked for a bit, talked about annoying customers, and eventually I convinced her to head home early. I walked to my apartment, just a 10-minute walk down a quiet street. The summer air was thick, humid, the kind that makes your clothes stick to your skin. As I walked, I felt a weird sensation, like someone watching me. But Norhaven isn't dangerous, and I usually ignored my paranoia. I should have listened that night. When I got home, everything felt colder than usual. I thought it was the blackout hitting the neighborhood. Half the streetlights were dead. My apartment felt too quiet, still in a way I couldn't explain. But I brushed it off. I took a shower, changed into a tank top and shorts, and planned to record content for my page. Nothing explicit, just a soft-lit teasing mood video. But with no power, it wasn't possible. So I fell asleep. I woke at 3 a.m. Something pulled me out of sleep. This low mechanical hum outside my bedroom window. It didn't sound like any generator or car I recognized. I sat up, groggy, heart pounding. The hell? I checked beside me for my phone out of instinct, but it wasn't there. I fumbled my hands across the sheets, the pillow, the floor. Nothing. Confused, half asleep, I crouched down near the side of my bed. Still nothing. The humming continued, steady. Too steady. I whispered into the darkness. "Who's out there?" No answer. I wanted to look out the window, but the blackout made everything pitch black outside. My phone was still missing, so I couldn't even use its light. I told myself it was probably just a neighbor's generator or something stupid like that. But my body wasn't buying it. My chest felt tight. My stomach knotted. I hid under the blanket like I was 10 again. Pathetic. But it made me feel safer. The sound went on for what felt like an hour. Then it stopped abruptly. Just gone. Silence swallowed the room. Eventually, I drifted back to sleep. When sunlight hit my face the next morning, my phone was suddenly right beside my head, like it had been there all night. Except I knew it wasn't. And under it was a folded piece of paper. My throat tightened as I opened it. "You look pretty innocent when you sleep, not like when you put on a show for the camera." A kiss mark stained the bottom. Bright red lipstick, my shade. I dropped everything and backed away so fast I hit the wall. My breath came in gasps. This wasn't possible. No one knew where I lived. No one knew my real name. No one could connect my content to the real me, unless someone had been inside my home. I didn't move for a long time. I sat on the bed, knees pulled to my chest, listening for any sound. Eventually, I convinced myself to check the apartment. Kitchen, fine. Bathroom, fine. Living room, fine. Front door, locked. Everything was normal, but nothing felt normal. I called Jenna, hands trembling. "Hey, you good?" She answered groggily. "Someone was in my apartment," I whispered. "Whoa, what? Did you get robbed?" "No. They left a note." "What kind of note?" I hesitated. There was no way to explain this without revealing what I did online. "It's complicated," I said. She kept pressing, but I shut down the conversation. I didn't want anyone knowing. Not yet. I considered calling the cops, but what would I even say? "Hey, officer. Someone broke into my apartment, didn't steal anything, didn't leave fingerprints, didn't leave signs of forced entry, just a creepy note referencing my OnlyFans." Yeah, no. They'd write me off as paranoid. So I went to work and pretended everything was normal. But that night, I noticed the closet door had shifted a few inches from where I remembered leaving it. I didn't open it. I didn't breathe near it. I slept on the couch. 2 days later, I received a new message on OF from a username I didn't recognize. Solace in Ruin. He had been following me for months, occasionally tipping small amounts, never talking. But his message hit like ice. "You sleep peacefully. I like that about you." I froze. This couldn't be coincidence. I wrote back carefully, "I don't share personal info. Please keep things respectful." Within seconds he replied, "I know, I've been watching long before you knew about me." My heartbeat was a hammer. I blocked him instantly, but blocking only works when a person is behind a screen. 3 nights after the note, I heard a new noise, a soft click inside the apartment. Not from outside, inside. My blood turned cold. I grabbed my phone, dialed emergency, but the line wouldn't connect. At first, I blamed signal issues until I realized my Wi-Fi was unplugged, and the router cord had been cut clean through. I stepped back slowly. My bathroom door was closed. My closet door was closed. The kitchen pantry door was cracked open. Too many places for something or someone to hide. "Hello?" I whispered. No answer. I backed toward the front door and tugged on the handle. It didn't budge. Locked, deadlocked, from the inside. Panic surged through me. My window wouldn't lift either. I pounded on it, screamed for help. No one heard. My street was practically a ghost town at night. Then, a door behind me clicked open. I spun around fast, back pressing against the window, chest heaving. "Please," I whispered. Just take whatever you want." A shadow moved. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Then he stepped into the light from the window. He wasn't old. Late 20s maybe. Tall. At least 6'3". Dark hair, messy. A jagged scar running from his cheekbone to his jaw. He wore a ripped black hoodie and jeans stained with something dark. His eyes were gentle at first glance, but dead behind the softness. "Morning, Angel," he murmured casually, voice low. "Or whatever time it is. You scream loud. Cute, but kinda pointless." My stomach flipped. He knew my OF username. He knew how I slept. He knew my lipstick. He had been in my house before, probably many times. Who are you?" I stammered. He smiled. A slow, infuriating smile like I'd just asked something silly. "You know me," he said. "Not this face, maybe, but you know me." I shook my head. "No, I don't." "Sure you do," he whispered. "Solace in Ruin." My limbs went numb. He stepped closer, fingers brushing my arm almost softly. "You gave me so much of yourself online," he said. "Your movements, your breath, your rhythm. You think I wouldn't recognize you walking down the street? You think I wouldn't know the body I've memorized?" My voice barely worked. "You tracked me down?" He tilted his head. "Tracked? Baby, you're not that hard to love." Love. He used the word like it wasn't poison. "I don't know you," I murmured. "But I know you," he said. "And honestly, I think you want someone like me. Someone who sees the version of you that you hide. He suddenly leaned in and inhaled near my neck. I jerked back. "Don't," he whispered. "Relax. If I wanted to hurt you, I would have done it last week." My knees nearly buckled. I swallowed hard. "What do you want?" His smile returned, darker this time. "Everything," he said. "But for now, just come with me. I'm not going anywhere with you." He chuckled softly. "You think you have a choice?" He reached out, fingers brushing my waist. I acted on instinct. I kicked him square in the groin. He let out a strangled growl and folded slightly. I ran. I sprinted to the living room, grabbed the nearest heavy object, a decorative glass bowl, and smashed it against the ground to grab a shard. My hands were shaking as I gripped it. He staggered after me, rage twisting his features. "You want to play like that? Really?" He lunged. I ducked under his arm, flung open the front door, which he must have unlocked when he followed me out of the bedroom, and bolted outside barefoot. That's when I saw it. A police patrol car rolling down the street. I didn't think. I didn't hesitate. I screamed, "Help, please, he's trying to kill me." The car screeched to a stop. He tried to run, but he didn't get far. 2 officers tackled him, handcuffed him, dragged him to the squad car. I collapsed to the pavement, sobbing, shaking so violently I could barely breathe. One officer stayed with me while the other searched his car. I heard his footsteps stop, then a strangled gasp. "Jesus Christ!" I turned. In his trunk were 3 human heads, wrapped in plastic bags. Had I not escaped, I would have been the 4th. The police took my statement. The news broadcast the arrest. I stayed with Jenna for weeks because I refused to sleep alone. He was charged with multiple counts of murder, breaking and entering, stalking, kidnapping intent, and possession of human remains. I deleted my OnlyFans permanently. Therapy helped, slowly. But the truth is, what scares me most isn't that he almost killed me. It's the fact that he believed he loved me. Not me, but a version of me I created. A fantasy, a mask. Sometimes at night, I wonder how many people fall in love with masks, and how many of them will break the world to get to the person underneath. I don't film myself anymore. I don't play to the camera. I don't let strangers desire me. Now I give myself pleasure only for myself, the way it was supposed to be, the way it's safe.